Chapter 15, No More Running.
If you won't give yourself to me, then I'll just have to kill you as well.
With whip-like speed, the entity's tendril shadows snap around your throat and lift you off the ground. Get away from her! Release Lila at once! Despite their pleas, the entity pulls you closer until your face is inches from hers.
Killing such a lovely creature is a terrible waste, Lila, but you've given me no choice.
The shadows tighten, cutting off your air, but you manage to choke out. You are bluffing.
Oh, am I? Does this feel like a bluff to you?
Her grip on your throat grows incrementally tighter, but you grit your teeth and continue to spit out words.
You said it yourself. If you kill me, there's no one left. You'll be in this form forever. I'm your last chance.
She quirks an eyebrow and cocks her head.
I suppose you have a point.
Abruptly, she releases you and you stumble to your feet, drawing in the air into your lungs in raspy gulps. But when you look back at her, she's smiling, that wicked, cold smile that's at your stomach twisting with fear.
I'll just have to take you to a much less populated area so we can have this discussion. Somewhere your little bodyguards will never find you.
Why don't you just kill them? Her shadows twist around you, but just as she starts to pull, snap. An explosion of energy slams into her back. She screeches with rage as Alexander and Skylar break her magic hold and surge forward to shield you from her wrath. I'm gonna step in front of them, because remember, she can't kill me. You shoulder your way between them, stretching your arms out protectively in front of their chest, and step up to the entity. Lila, get back! Leave the demon to us. The wolf and I shall face her now. Yeah, right. Even though you're terrified for yourself and for them, their steady strength behind you gives you courage you never knew you had. No, I'm not running anymore. We're facing her together.
Brave words, and I must say, I'm impressed by how strong the wolf and vampire have become.
Question, what was the snap and what hit her from behind?
Alas, your minds are weak. You're fools to think you'll be able to defeat me in a true battle.
Try us.
Oh, I intend to.
Cupping her hands, she conjures a mangled mass of shadows. She turns her palms towards you, and they fly at your head like a horde of deadly spikes. Skylar hunches over, his form growing and shifting until a large wolf stands by your side. You hear his furious shout in your head. Lila, down! You duck as he leaps over you in a dark blur, knocking the shadows from the air. Alexander bares his claws, his vampire eyes glowing a dark and deadly red. You are a fool if you think you can get through us so easily. In a blur of motion, Alexander leaps at her, his fangs tearing at her throat. Bloody, the entity spins away and turns back towards you, her face twisted with terrible rage. Didn't they try this once before and they went through her, so what's different?
Fine. Let's do this the hard way.
She throws her arms out, plunging the woods into impenetrable darkness. I can't see. Lila, go! Get out of here! Run. Trust the protective guys. I may not be able to see, but she won't be able to see me either. You yank the hood of your head. There's a quick shimmer in your eyes, just as the woods around you lights up with an eerie glow. It's like a magical nightlight.
Where are you, little sneak?
Some instinct tells you to run for the road, and you turn, the disguise as a shimmering light guiding you safely through the trees. Like the flick of a switch, the woods are suddenly flooded with light. What? You squint and shade your eyes with your hand to find the entity's familiar cold eyes, smiling down at your shadows, churning the air. Out of the darkness, Alexander leaped for her, his claws curled and set to rend. Leave her be. His whip-like slash tears into the entity's flesh, and you take a moment to scramble up and run. But just as you think you're clear, shadows coalesce before you and push you to the ground.
Your vampire can't protect you, Lila.
You scream, strike out an instinct, but instead of passing through her, your hand encounters solid flesh. She feels almost human. Thank you for paying attention, class. I can touch you.
Yes, all this anger is making me very strong. I can take a much more solid form now, but I can also do this.
The darkness around her whirls and her body shifts from solid mass to incorporeal shadows. Maybe you should have done that 2 minutes ago. I'm gonna use my switchblade, stab her with a stick, take a swing. I'm a stabber. You remember the silver switchblade you found in the go bag, still attached to your belt. The entity's vulnerable to silver. You flip open the knife, slash wildly at the swirling shadows of her hand, and the blade cuts through them, and she reels back, screeching in agony. Stop. Out of nowhere, Alexander leaps out of the trees, fang bared, his vampire eyes two blood-red spots of rage. Leave her be. But the entity pivots and strikes Alexander with a flurry of dagger-like shadows. Alexander's eyes flare in alarm just as the shadows touch his skin. They disappear in a whoosh of air. He slams into the entity, knocking her back into the trees. Alexander skids to your side, his smile one of relief and love. It was your gift of the ages, Lila. You saved my life. I expect a reward later. Such as? Surprise me. I intend to.
Enough of this.
The entity storms through the trees, slashing her arms furiously through the air, and... flash! You're alone in a dark, twisting labyrinth. You cup your hands over your mouth and scream. Alexander! Skylar! The voices echo in the distance. Lila. Where are you? I'm here, Flash again. I love it. In the desert now. Suddenly you're stumbling across the dunes of a vast desert. You fall to your knees, the blazing hot sand searing your skin. What's going on? It's a hallucination. Don't believe, ever. Flash. Bang. Alakazam. Da-da-da-da-da-da. He's getting old. Now you're kneeling on the creaky wood floor of your grandmother's cabin. If this is a hallucination, then I'm still in the forest and Alexander are nearby. I have to find a way out of this. I'm gonna search for them, try to anticipate the next shift. Close my eyes. The changes, the flashes, it's all making me sick. Thank God. You squeeze your eyes shut, willing yourself back to the woods. Alexander, Skylar. A cold hand clamps down on your shoulder.
Not smart, Lila. Never take your eyes off the enemy.
Yeah, but the environment was the enemy. Like a black whirlwind, a swarm of chittering bats descends from above to tangle the entity's hair and claw at her face.
No!
Lila, get on my back, quick! You scramble on Skylar's shaggy shoulders as Alexander waves at you to follow. Come, I found a way out. Leaving the entity behind, Skylar lopes behind Alexander and all of you, disappearing into the depths of the sheltering forest. You come to a stop in a dense copse and slide from Skylar's shoulders, your feet hitting the ground with a thump. Skylar shifts back to a human form as Alexander grasps your arms and they speak at once, their words tumbling over each other. Lila, are you okay? Did she hurt you? I'm fine, but I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. Is it me, or is she much stronger than she was a few days ago? She is. If we're to defeat her, we must rest, especially Lila. Rest? In the middle of a fight? She's right behind us. Those bats aren't going to hold her off for long. I'm with Lila on this one. Alexander smiled as his long fangs glinting against his lip. Not to worry, I have a way to hide us. Here, come closer. You step into the circle of Alexander's arm, but Skylar holds back, looking skeptical. Not really into group hugs at this moment. Skylar. He rolls his eyes, and you pull him against you as Alexander takes a deep breath and closes his eyes, a long, silent moment, and then a billowing mist rises around you, casting all of you in an otherworldly place of light and fog. Is this the thing that you summoned to disorient the entity? Similar, but instead of surrounding us with a veil of clouds, I have brought you to the Mist Realm. When did you learn to do this? Only recently. It's an ability only the oldest and most powerful among us can develop.
Unless you aged a couple of centuries overnight, something must have changed.
It was Lila. The human blood she so graciously offered me has given me strength I needed to accomplish it. For as long as we reside here, we are safe from the entity. No demon can enter this place.
It's a little weird for my taste, but if it buys Lila some time to recover, I'm down.
Me too. This is just what I need. Yes, but by doing so, doesn't this drain Alexander gradually over time? Sorry, lore buff here for vampires and otherworldly demons and entities. You sit back onto the soft, foggy grass, sighing with relief as a cool breeze wafts cloud tendrils across your cheeks. Skylar reclines beside you, resting his head against his arms with a grin.
Well, the entity may be stronger, but I think we did a pretty good job kicking her ass.
Indeed. You acquitted yourself well in battle, Wolf, though it pains me to admit you are much swifter than I give you credit for.
And you're stronger than you look, which isn't saying much, but still, it's impressive.
I think, Alexander, you're pretty fast yourself, Alexander. He leans towards you with a playful smirk, his hand trailing up your waist. Yeah, it's just... and not just in battle. That's not a good thing, my friend. Oh, I'm well aware. But enough with the ego boosting. I'm gonna take a nap while, I've got the chance. You close your eyes and settle between them, comforted by their presence and the peaceful silence of this mysterious place. But instead of resting, your adrenaline-filled body tosses and turns. Damn it, I'm too amped up to relax. I need to burn off some of this excess energy. You crack open your eyes and glance from Alexander to Skylar, both lying still and silent beside you. And I know a good way to do it. I want to have a Mist Realm hookup with both. Lord help me. Just let them rest, for the love of God. We're gonna have to leave this place eventually, and when we do, the entity will be waiting. They'll need all the energy for the fight. Yeah, what the hell did you do? You lay back down, take a deep breath, willing your body to relax. You yawn, your heart begins to slow, and... Lila? You startle awake to find Alexander kneeling beside you, smiling. What happened? Was I sleeping? You were, and quite deeply.
Sorry to wake you, but we have to get back.
You roll to your feet and stand beside Alexander as he closes his eyes and lifts his hands. Why do we need to get back? She needed all the rest she could get, right? A moment of silence, and then the mist rolls away into the surrounding trees.
Okay, now that the magic realm, this thing is...
A blast of cold air blows back your hair, and you scream as the entity's shadows whip around you like a tornado. Yeah, did you think she was leaving? I knew you'd come back to me eventually. Skylar moves to block you from the shadows, lowering his voice to a fierce whisper.
Alexander, I'm going to get the demon's attention on me, get Lila somewhere safe, then strike when I give the signal.
He lets out a terrifying growl and shifts to wolf form, leaping between you and the entity as Alexander pulls you to the shelter of a nearby tree. Do not move from this place, Lila. Without waiting for the answer, Alexander bares his fangs and launches into the fight, circling the entity as Skylar stalks her warily from behind. Power explodes from the entity's hands at Skylar, who dodges out of the way with a flick of his tail, giving Alexander room to slash her through the swirling shadows. For a moment you forget your fear, caught up in the chaotic dance of the battle before you. The fighting is more vicious than before, faster, a test of Skylar's wolf strength and Alexander's vampire speed. If this is what their duel would have been like, they'd both be dead. Thank you for noticing. Nervously fiddle with your necklace, and then suddenly you're struck with an idea. If this thing can hurt Alexander and Skylar, it could probably hurt the entity too. You tear the necklace from your neck and throw it at the entity as soon as she's far enough away from Alexander and Skylar. The necklace gave you a leg up in the fight. The necklace hits the entity right between the eyes, and she grabs her face as the skin sizzles. What the hell was... Alexander takes advantage of the entity's distraction. He feigns left, pulling the entity's attention enough for Skylar to spring. The entity screeches as Skylar knocks her down with a wide swipe of his paw. Alexander, throw one of your vials. Go for her throat. Bloodthirsty, aren't you? Only when she's concerned. A mental huff of laughter, Skylar pivots on his hind paws and leaps at the entity. The entity screams, ducks away, but not before Skylar's fangs rake a bloody gash across her throat. As the three supernatural creatures continue to wage blood war, you watch from the shelter of the tree, frustration building. There has to be something I can do to help. I sparred with a werewolf, for God's sake. And when you see the entity speeding in your direction, you know what to do. You'll pull back a tree branch and wait. Come on, come just a little closer. As the entity nears, you let the branch go and send it flying right into her throat, knocking her to the ground. She may not be a wolf, but she damn sure still has vulnerable spots. Skylar picks her up with his huge jaws and tosses her into the trees. Good to see you were paying attention during our training sessions. I always pay attention when you're around. But soon the fight picks up to a pace you can hardly even follow. I know I can't be much help, but I'm the reason this is happening in the first place. It should be me out there. Sensing your distress, Skylar gives you a mental poke. I might regret this, but want in on the action? You feel his fear through your bond. Fear for you, but also his confidence wrapped in a blanket of love. Really? You're not scared I'll get hurt if I join the fight? Terrified, but I believe in you. Together, you, me, and Batboy can kick some sick and evil into the ass. I definitely want in on this action. With a wolfy grin, Skylar bends his shoulder for you. Climb on, then let's go show this demon she messed with the wrong human. Laughing, you vault onto his back. Skylar leaps around and you ride him into battle like a medieval knight. What's the game plan, General? General, I like the sound of that. Hey, look, she somehow still has her necklace on her. Okay, I think we should split up, actually. Just tackle her. Get in a little batting practice. And that means what, exactly? You look around for the largest branch you can find and scoop it up with a gleeful smile. That means you run at her like a super fast wolf you are, and I knock her damn demon block off with this bad boy. Oh, this is gonna be fun. You crouch low as Skylar puts on speed, his paws eating up the ground, sending dirt and debris whistling through the air. The entity sees you and grins. Thank you, Wolf, for bringing her right to me. Batter up. You lift the branch like a bat and swing, connecting with her head and sending her reeling back into the ground. Lila. Skylar gets to a stop, and you slide from his back, landing right beside Alexander, who pulls you in his arms, his eyes dark with concern. Lila, you need to take cover. She cares nothing for us. Possessing you is her ultimate goal. I can do this, Alexander, and honestly I think we've got a better shot at defeating her if we work together. Safety in numbers and all that. Are you sure? 100%. Well, who am I to deny you revenge? What would you like me to do? How about you drink some of my blood? I mean, it would make him more powerful. It'll make you stronger. Are you sure? Of course I'm sure. We need to use all the weapons at our disposal. Here. He brings your wrist to his lips and you feel a small prick. As your blood seeps into his mouth, his eyes turn a deep, deadly red and begin to glow with power. Another furious snarl, and Alexander launches himself into the entity, his fangs tearing viciously into her flesh. Skylar gallops to your side, his furry snout split in a wolfish grin. Nice work, killer. Thanks. I think we make a pretty good team. The entity rises off the ground, dark energy pulsing around her. Stupid girl, you think wolf bites and vampire tricks can harm me? And they seem to be doing a good job deterring you. With just a thrust of her hands, and the entity pelts you with an icy wind, which slams you back and pins you to a tree. Listen, I'm not scared of your wind. It's like 0 degrees outside for me. I'm not scared. I'm serious. It's cold as hell. You try to struggle with the entity's power, hold you in place. I'm a sitting duck. I need to get out of this now. I'm gonna charm her. Why? Call out for Skylar. Call out for Alexander. I'm gonna go with Skylar. Skylar. I'm here. You hear a growl, see a flash of dark third. Skylar launches into the entity, snapping his jaws around her arm. He gives her body a vicious shake, then tosses her away back into the darkness of the trees. Pressure gone, you slide to the ground as Skylar shifts back to human form and takes you gently in his arms. Thank you. For a minute I thought, never think that. I've always got your back, always. A blur of motion, Alexander's kneeling beside you. Is she gone, Lila? I think so, for the moment anyway. You sit back to catch your breath, smiling from one to the other. And suddenly the adrenaline of the fight, the realization of just how close you came, stirs a fierce desire. I need to kiss. Girl, come on. You know what? I'm just gonna keep going back and forth at this point. Alexander. You grab Alexander's chin, pull him to you for a hard, passionate kiss. He leans back with a rueful smile. An odd reaction, though not unwelcome. And lots more where that came from. You were on fire out there, Lila. Indeed you were. So were both of you. I think we got her on the run. You're funny. You look up just as a massive oak comes hurtling down. You all scramble away as it slams into the spot where you'd just been sitting. What the... Enough! The dust clears, the entity looms over you, her face twisted with a mask of rage. But far from cool, confident demon, you know this creature is ragged, visibly wary, her hair snarled, tangled, her clothes hang in ribbons from her arms. If you believe your pathetic efforts can conquer a demon so easily, then you're more foolish than I thought. No, but it's slowly draining you of your strength. You can't win. You just got your ass kicked by a werewolf, a vampire, and a human. The only fool here is you. Just give up and let it end already. Her snarl's the most terrifying thing you've ever heard, and despite your bravado, you tremble with fear. You... Suddenly she calms, that cold, calculating smile returning to her face. Yes, your loyal guard dogs have annoyed me for far too long. As you pointed out, to achieve my goal, you must live, but these two are expendable. And it's time I put them down. For good. See, this is what happens when you run your mouth in a fight. She throws her arms wide, and power like you've never seen before pours into her body. Her eyes glow, shadows swirl around her in a furious whirlwind. She narrows her gaze at Skylar and Alexander and smiles. She's going to kill them. Seconds stretch into minutes as everything flashes through your mind. Your life of perpetual self-preservation. Arriving at Hidden Grove, meeting Skylar and Alexander. All that joy, devotion, love. I can't let them die for me. You shoot them a last sorrowful glance. Alexander's eyes grow wide with fear. Skylar slowly shakes his head. They know what you're going to do. Lila, no. Don't. But you're already on your feet, running, leaping directly in the line of the entity's deadly fire. I love you, Skylar and Alexander. The strike feels like a punch to your chest that steals your breath. Then the pain starts, spreading like flame through your chest, your limbs. The entity screeches with rage, or your Skylar and Alexander's voice screaming as if from some far distance. No! Lila! You take a last shuddering breath, your heart thumps and goes still. Your vision fades, and then... nothing. Nothing but darkness. The victory! The evil is defeated! What? Is the book over now? Wouldn't that be amazing? Anyway, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be something. Some of you are going right now, wow, Lookum, you're so mean. And I'm just going, because it's the illusion of choice. So, before I get to that, first and foremost, you know, I'm just like I predicted this was going to happen, I continue to predict these horrible plot holes and decisions and armors. Because, again... I've been around the block for too damn long. Let me explain here in a minute. First and foremost, if you did enjoy the content, to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, please support the channel via any means necessary, but let us begin, okay? I know, I should really start saving these things to have you guys tune into like a weekly wrap-up or recap like I used to do, right? But I'm just like, you know, at this point, if they're here and they've stayed through the entirety of the video, this is their reward. So anyway... as I said before, and I've called it out, if you guys go back to every single chapter, at the end I always give some like, hey, I bet you this happens. Hey, I'm never wrong. Because it's just very predictable at this point. We lost the illusion, or we lost the actual choices that matter back in Endless Summer. And like, it lives. We've given, through several years now, the illusion of something happening, but it never really happens. I'm just saying. So, with that being said, first and foremost, we're wearing something that protects us. Remember? You remember all the diamonds that we've, you know, spent? Now, for those of you who are like, well, I didn't, Locum. I'm not you, and I haven't been playing this app for 7 years, so I didn't spend much diamonds. Yeah, no, you'll still be fine, too. Because it's all an illusion. They didn't give us a choice to sacrifice ourselves, because if we sacrificed ourselves and we actually died... then the entity has nothing left. There's no point for her to continue going on. She no longer gains any power. Her power siphon, is what it's called, is literally gone. She has to go find some other poor sap who's going to make a deal for whatever, you know, it be, and then hope that they do or do not keep their deal, okay? That's how this works. So she loses her power siphon. She wasn't going to kill you. There's no reason to, and there's no power behind it or gain or anything. It's the reason why she went after the two of them. Somebody tells me this isn't going to be enough to kill you, especially with everything that's happened, and just even the basic things that Peter's done for us that didn't require diamonds. Something tells me, if at the very least it knocked us out, we're unconscious right now. It's the illusion of it. Okay? It's either that or there will be some deal break BS where, you know, because you're the end of the lineage, like, oh no, the deal with the demon is broken, or maybe there's some higher power, which, think about this, actually. We've actually never seen any counter to demons or spirits or anything in this Pixelberry, you know, universe, right? Like, angels and whatnot doesn't exist. They probably don't exist to Pixelberry because, you know, a lot of them are dumb people. Anyway, you know, I'm just saying, if you're going to have a universe where every other supernatural thing exists, you have to include those too. Okay? Just saying. So, will this be an introduction of our first ever angel? Doubtful, but we'll see. We'll see. It'd be nice if it was. Because at least we could make something to do with it. If you've watched enough Romance Club and all these other apps, they do it, and they do it well. And basically, that's one of the reasons why people tune in. They like the whole good guy, bad guy, you know, maybe they'll turn gray and go in the middle kind of thing. It's something that's been around since I was a kid. It's something that's been around long before that. Literally look at Charmed. There's a perfect example of that. So, you know, I digress. Right. Just watch. We won't be dead. Just anyway, catch you all later. It was super short chapter, wasn't it? They're really putting in the effort. Anyway, I can't. Serious. You can tell when they're not putting in the effort and they're like, how do we end this? This is like this is literally this is how I'm gonna end this. This is literally how One Piece is struggling right now. They've built up this big hoopla, and Naruto had the same issue. Where they've built up this big hoopla, it's been this long, winding BS, where literally we just got done defeating a god in Bolus. But long story short, that took all of, like, what, 2 minutes? And we're fighting this demon. I understand there's lower things, it's kind of like a person who, it's kind of like two girls fighting. They'll be there for 15 minutes, but you bring in some, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he'll just throw them apart and be like, the fight is done. Go, run from me. Anyway, like, so I get it, but then I don't. I don't know, right? They like One Piece and Naruto suffered from the same thing, and they had to use a gimmick and plot hole and plot armor to be able to wrap it up. That's how they wrapped it up. They had to do all this shit. One Piece right now is struggling with that though. They're gonna have to use something to be a gimmick to wrap it up. But Naruto did the same. Just saying, it's always been the same. Every single anime, there's some big power trope, some weakness, and it's like this most minuscule, stupid thing. Bleach! There's another one. Bleach had another one of those. Yeah, no, every single big anime's got the same. So anyway, thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. Let me know your thoughts down below. Peace out.